Hi everyone, Flaming Footy here and welcome back to another YouTube video on the channel. And today guys, we are going to be continuing our AFL 2022 3-game match reviews. Now here we are back for another 3-game match reviews. 3 massive games in front of us right here on the screen, and I'm going to be reviewing them all for you. Now, these 3 games were massive games. We learnt a lot, as we always do, from these 3-game match reviews. So the games that we had was Geelong vs Melbourne, Thursday night blockbuster, Sydney vs Doggies, Friday night blockbuster, and the Pies and the Roos, Saturday afternoon blockbuster. So things were getting interesting, and let's go ahead and start things off with the Cats and the D's. Prime time Thursday night at Kardinia Park, first versus second. The stage was set. Alright everyone, so the stage was set for a Thursday night blockbuster like no other, and it was the Cats, a very inaccurate Cats outfit, 12-19-91, walking over the Demons, 9-9-63. The Demons, they're back on the losers' books after having a rough few months, and this one definitely didn't help their chase for the premiership, and now the top of the table Cats, as it now stands, are now top of the table and looking the better of the sides. And this game was a really interesting one, and it was both teams that had in the first 2 quarters, or the first half, it was a relatively even game of footy. Again, though, the Cats, their inaccuracy did cost them. But then in the third quarter, they started to get going, started to get lively, pushed the margin above 20. The D's did kick a few goals late. They're only 2 goals back later in the quarter to be a crack at 3-quarter time. And then they pushed hard. They came within single figures to jump right back into this one. And then it was the Cats who just absolutely destroyed them and said goodbye to any chance of them winning the game. And they end up taking them down by 28 points. A big win for the Cats and a real confidence-boosting win for their season. Jack Viney, 35 disposals, was really good. 3 goals for Christian Petrarca. He was accurate. 138 fantasy for Duncan. 9 tackles for Tommy Atkins. But I'll tell you, really even game. Until the last part of the last quarter, where the Cats just start to absolutely storm away and get the job done. Now, to some player stats we go, where AFL Fantasy, 138 for Duncan, 127 for Viney, 114 for Guthrie, 108 for Atkins, 105 for Dangerfield, 99 for Oliver, 96 for Petrarca. And now to goals and behinds we go. 3 goals for Petrarca, 2 for Rowan, Duncan, Guthrie, and then 1 for everybody else. Disposals, 35 for Viney, 34 for Oliver, 32 for Duncan, 31 for Dangerfield, 28 for Guthrie, 27 for Brayfield, 26 for May. Now to the marks, 11 for Duncan, 8 for Hibbard, 7 for Henry, Holmes, Smith, Tui, and Brayshaw. Tackles now, 9 for Atkins. Atkins does actually always rack up a higher number of tackles when he's playing. 7 for Guthrie, Close, and Viney, 6 for Harms. Hit-outs now, 35 for Gorn. It would have been really good having him back in the Demon side, but not even that and Jackson was enough to win the game. 16 for Stanley and Blitzarves, 13 for Jackson, 4 for Hawkins, 1 for Brown. Now team stats time. Where the Demons use more handballs instead of kicks. The Cats use way more kicks and went inside 50 20 more times than Demons. That is a big number there, especially against the Demons. Demons won hit-outs, however, the Cats were clearance kings in this one. 54-36 clearances, 16-8 centre clearances, and 38-28 stoppage clearances. That does tell you something about the Cats there, how much they did own the game. 103-67 marks. Again, just took the marking game away from the Demons. They took 14 marks inside 50 to the Demons 6. They were well ahead in most aspects. They led for most of the game as well. The final margin was the winning margin. And the Cats just took the game on with 6 bounces to 1. And what a game of footy it was, though. We got treated to an absolute blockbuster for first versus second. There is a new ladder leader now. And the Demons, this is a disappointing performance, especially with, well, pretty much a full team of stars back. And for the Cats, this is a really good performance, getting them closer to, well, really being a real red-hot contender, and maybe even contender for the minor premiership and the premiership. Now off to Friday night footy we go, where the Sydney Swans smash the Bulldogs by 53 points. Sydney 17-18, 120, defeat the Dogs 9-13, 67. They win by 53, and they could have won this game by more, built off the back of a good first quarter where they won the game there. They were so good in that first quarter, kicked 7 goals, 8, 50-13, was the quarter time score, and you knew they weren't going to lose it from there. They were not losing this game from there, and they didn't play like they were going to lose it either. The Doggies kicked 3 goals in the second quarter to the Swans 2, but they were still way too strong, the Swans. Third quarter, kicked 6-3, and then final quarter, kicked 2-1. They were just way too strong the whole game, were the Sydney Swans, and this does tell you the SCG is a really good ground for them. They've beaten teams like the Saints, the Doggies, teams contending below them this year by a fair bit. And then they've really beaten some other really good teams there, like the the Cats there as well. So yeah, but what a game of footy this one was, especially for a Swans point of view. That they were really good. And this is how a top 8 team plays, especially at home grounds. And they did exactly that. They played really well and were definitely deserving of a big win for the Western Bulldogs. But what does that tell you about their finals hopes? They are possibly out the door now. Yes, they still do have a little bit of a chance, but with the top 8 starting to even up, and I'll go over that at the end of the video, how I feel like this is going to work at the end of the video. So, yeah, make sure to stay tuned to the end of the video to hear my top 8 analysis. But I just don't think the Doggies will make the 8 now, just based on how I feel like it's going to play out. But anyway, make sure to watch to the end to find out how I think it's going to play out. But 32 disposals for Adam Treloar, 4 goals for Isaac Heaney, 148 fantasy for Callum Mills, 16 tackles for Callum Mills. The Swans were really good, though, in this game, and that is a performance that does deserve to make the top 8. 148 fantasy for Mills, as I said, 113 for Reid, 106 for Lloyd, 103 for Parker, 102 for McCartan, 100 for Treloar, and 100 for Papley and Warner. And I'll tell you, Warner and Papley looked absolutely deadly when they went near the footy. 99 for English as well. Goals behinds, 4 for Heaney, 2 goals, 5 for Papley and Franklin. Those two had very shocking nights in front of the sticks, as did Waitman, 2 goals, 3. But then Warner, Norton, and Amadi were a lot better with 2 goals, 2, 2 goals, 2, and 2 goals, 0. And then everybody else that kicked a goal got the 1 goal. 32 disposals for Treloar, 28 for Parker, 27 for Lloyd, 26 for McRae, you know he does it week in, week out. 25 for Warner, 24 for Papley, 23 for Mills, Fox, Liberatore, 22 for Blakey, and McCartan. So now, marks, 14 for McCartan, 8 for Florent, 7 for the following: Mills, Franklin, Fox, Lloyd, Rampy, and Shackey. So the Swans took a lot more of a marking approach game. Look at these numbers: 16 tackles for Callum Mills, 13 tackles for your big man Reid, 9 for Robot and Bontempelli, 8 for West, 7 for Parker, 6 for Goulden and Hunter. Those are some big names there, laying some big tackles. 27 hit-outs for English, 25 for Reid, 10 for Latham, 7 for Amadi, 5 for Shackey, and they still won in the hit-outs, despite Hickey not even being there. This was a really good performance, especially without their really senior ruckman, as in Tom Hickey. And the Swans, they only went inside 50 13 more times than the Western Bulldogs, but made every single one count. It looked like whenever they went inside 50, they were surely going to score Sydney. And that was pretty much the case as well. They were just really good with Sydney. They just really gave it up to the Dogs. Again, all this area marks inside 50 contested and intercepts were all Sydney dominance. The Swans led for the whole game and definitely deserving winners. Definitely deserving big winners. They laid more tackles, applied the pressure. And yeah, they were big winners. They deserve to be big winners. And this is a really big game and a bit of a percentage booster as well. And this does really dent the Dogs' hopes. Now to the game on earlier today where Collingwood 13-10-88, Survivor, North Melbourne scared 12-9-81. North Melbourne should have won this game, and I didn't think I was going to say this, but North Melbourne should have won this game, and I'll just be going over this now. So, it was an even first quarter, and the Roos play first quarters generally pretty well. And then the second quarter, they absolutely dominate. They kick 4 goals. 4 goals to Collingwood's 1, and they lead by 20 at half time. It's like, okay, they've got potential of causing the biggest ups of the year here. And then in the third quarter, they kick 4 goals to 3 to North Melbourne. They're on 79 at 3/4 time to Collingwood's 53. They lead by 26 at the final change, and they led by 28 late in that third quarter. They lead by 26 the final change, and they are going to win at this rate. And then the Pies kick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 goals to save their hopes and dreams, and they win and they win the Pies. They create a miraculous miracle win because North Melbourne kicked 2 points in the final quarter, which does sum up, well, their season, really. If you want to find any evidence for North's season, this is the quarter to look at. And there's plenty of evidence of how bad their season has been. And this was a step in the right direction. Don't get me wrong. If there's any North Melbourne fans watching this is a win out of a loss case scenario, if you get what I mean. This is like a, well, top 8 quality. I wouldn't call them top 4 quality, but I'd call them a top 8 quality team at the moment. And to get within 7 points is a pretty good effort, and to lead for most of the game was another pretty good effort. But the Pies, they were just the classier and the better of the sides, which pretty much came to rob North Melbourne, really. And look at all this, the stats, 11 tackles for Luke Davies-Uniacke, 145 fantasy for Luke Davies-Uniacke, 33 disposals for Davies-Uniacke, 5 goals for Nick Larkey. AFL fantasy, again, 145 for Davies-Uniacke, 142 for Anderson. He's been missing this year. He actually had a pretty good game. 104 for Elliott, 100 for Adams, 100 for Taylor, 99 for Larkey and Zeeble, 97 for Pendlebury Goldie, 95 for Crisp, 88 for Nick Dacos, 85 for his brother Josh Dacos, Jai Simpkin, 85, and Glassy Cameron, 87. So goals behinds now will go, where, yeah, Larkey got the 5 goals, 3 for Cameron, 2 for Goldie, and Ginnivan as well as Elliott, Sidebottom and Zeeble, and then 1 goal for everybody else. But what about this game? It was an absolute ripper in the end. Came down to the wire. 33 disposed for Davies-Uniacke and Anderson. 31 for Simpkin. The top 3 ball getters on the ground were North Melbourne. And then 28 for Josh Dacos, 28 for Taylor Adams, 23 for Scott Pendlebury, Curtis Taylor, 22 for Power, 21 for Maynard, Nick Dacos, 20 for Howe, Elliott, and Zeeble, 19 for the key forward, as in Nick Larkey. Now, to the marks we go, where 10 for Taylor Mackay, 9 for Zeeble, 8 for Young, 9 for Anderson, 8 for Zeeble and Young. And now to the tackles we go, where 11 for Davies-Uniacke and Greenwood, 8 for Hoskin Elliott, 7 for McCreary and Anderson, 6 for Lipinski and Crisp, 5 for Taylor Adams. Hitouts now, 25 for Goldie, 21 for Cameron, 19 for Cox, 12 for Coleman Jones. Now to the footy. North Melbourne actually, believe it or not, went inside 50 more times than Collingwood. This was their best game of the year, North Melbourne. Even over their win against West Coast, this was probably their best game of the year. They really gave it, and they really gave it a real challenge. They won the clearances as well, unbelievably. This is like an unreal performance by North Melbourne, really. They won in marks, although marks inside 50 was Collingwood, but they did win in contested marks. They led for majority of the game, but just couldn't hold on. Could North Melbourne, and they were set to win it. They did choke up a big win that they could have had. But again, though, 21 tackles inside 50 to 8 in favour of Collingwood. 13-1 bounces. But North Melbourne, yes, they may have pulled off one of the biggest chokes of the year, losing by, 7. They were up by 28. But this is still a bit of a step in the right direction for North Melbourne. And Collingwood, they did come and rob them, but they were the better of the sides in the end. So now up to Metricon Stadium we go, where Gold Coast 4-4-28 have just halted to a stop, and Richmond 8-6-54 are flying ahead at Metricon Stadium right now. The Suns had the start and they were good in the first quarter, and the Tigers just kicked 1, 2, 3 goals late to, really stem momentum in their favour. And then again, they've just kicked 1, 2, 3 goals this quarter to really leap ahead. The Suns have only kicked 1, so the Suns are in real danger of coughing up this game, and what will it mean for them? Alright, to the rest of the round now. Massive game tonight. Couldn't be any bigger than this. St Kilda versus Freo. St Kilda trying to keep their finals hopes alive. Fremantle are trying desperately to keep their top 4 hopes alive. Port Adelaide and the Giants, again, same thing for the Power. Every game loses an elimination final, which I'll be going over my ladder in a minute. Brisbane versus Essendon. This is a danger game for Brisbane. They've got a lot of outs. The Bombers have been playing all right. I still feel like they've got the job done, but danger game. Hawks Crows should be a ripper. And then the Eagles and the Blues. Danger game for Carlton. West Coast have been playing all right in the past few weeks, and another danger game for Carlton, and they could definitely drop this one, and then their top 4 hopes just go down the drain. Alright, so here we are at the ladder. The Cats are the new ladder leaders now by 3%. Brisbane, Fremantle and Collingwood all on 44 points. The Swans in 6th, the Blues in 7th, the Tigers in 8th, the Saints in 9th. So I'll just be going over my ladder now. Just chuck on the live ladder real quick. And if the Tigers win, they'll go above the Blues on the 40 points temporarily. Suns will be stuck on 28. Now, here's what I'm seeing. Here's what I'm sensing. I feel like Richmond will beat the Suns. So may as well track on the live ladder for this. So what's going to happen is that these teams out here, right? St Kilda, well, depending on what happens tonight. But Western Bulldogs, Gold Coast and Port Adelaide. Not St Kilda. We're not going to include St Kilda because I still feel like St Kilda are a realistic chance they win some games. But Western Bulldogs, Gold Coast and Port Adelaide are going to be locked out of the top 8. There's no way they're going to get in. And even for St Kilda, I still don't feel they're going to get in. Just because look at these teams. Geelong, Melbourne, Brisbane, Fremantle, Collingwood, Sydney, Richmond, Carlton. They've been the best 8 teams this year. Undoubtedly been the best 8 teams this year. So really, to be completely honest, I don't think any team... I feel like this is the way the top 8 will be laid out. Now, yes, order in the top 8 won't be this, but order outside probably will be. I just don't think... I don't see Port Adelaide, Gold Coast, Doggies or Saints making the 8. I see this is the way the 8's going to look. I feel like... I reckon Sydney and Richmond will be playing away elimination finals. I reckon it could go something like along the lines of I reckon top 4 set. Cats, D's, Lions, Dockers. I reckon that's how top 4 is going to go. And then 5th to 8th could go either way. But I feel like this is the top 8. I don't think it's going to change. I think this is the way it's going to go. It's the way it's going to sit. But again, we don't know. But this is just what I'm thinking. I'm just thinking that these teams outside the top 8, especially Port Adelaide and Gold Coast, going to get locked out. The Doggies gets extremely tough for them, and the Saints, well, they're fighting everything now to keep it alive because otherwise they'll just get locked out as well. So that is my ladder analysis. You guys can let me know your thoughts in the comment section, but I just really, completely honest, just think that's what's going to happen. I feel like teams are in danger of getting locked out of the top 8. But anyway, we've gone for long enough. Really important games. This one does prove to be the most important of the round coming up as well as this one. But thank you guys all so much for watching. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you guys will never miss another video on the channel. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Bye everyone. Flaming Footy out.